think you're giving me enough.
I don't like this
You
at
didn't
all.
set me up right.
Can you imagine being that sensitive? Like you,
Well, that's
like
what
that
they're
is the
PC as hell.
ultimate.
Hey, you know what? This is the freest goddamn country, and it's so free that if you don't stand up, you aren't a free person. And goddamn it, boy, if you don't stand up right now, you ain't free. Because you have the freedom to do whatever you want. But I'm telling you, I have the freedom to make you feel bad for doing the freedom. Just get up and say you love it. Just get up right now, Copernic. God damn it. It's so free that you can't do it. You have to. It's free because there's only one way to be. That's why it's free. So be that. Damn you. They don't have anything to live. I mean, their kids hate them. They don't have, all their money got stolen by banksters and shit. Healthcare's running through the fucking roof.
Before we commence expelling this ghost from this location, before we save Jake from the lock, I will light the ceremonial herb that will give us the sight, that will give us the power we need to set Jake free. My Twitter's not working out here. Let's see if you can get a ghost. Go ahead and try. I summon the ghost into ghostly ghostness. Come the fuck out if you're a real ghost. Now. Demand it. This is how we fucking hunt ghosts. And as we've pointed out, and as we've said, there are no ghosts. So this is where the ghosts live, from what we know. And he's not home.
Hey everybody, welcome to Street Fight Radio. Glad you're here. It's Wednesday night, super late Street Fight. We were at the AEW watch party. If you're in Columbus, Ohio, you want to watch wrestling with people, we do it every single Wednesday at the Elevator Tap Room there on 4th. Come hang with the gang, act orangutan, get fucking nuts. It's a lot of fun. We have a few DSA people there. We got a couple other regulars, and it's watching wrestling in a room with a whole bunch of people is a lot more fun. I just objectively better time. So come join us, hang out. Thank you, Elevator, for hosting and giving us a place to do so. My name is Brett Payne. My co-host is Brian Quinby. We're Street Fight Radio, the #1 anarcho-comedy radio show on any station across the nation. You can hear us on WCRS. On Sundays, we do our call-in show, but tonight is the basement show. We got a little special basement show tonight. We're going to do some Q&A action, but on the regular, Wednesday and Sunday is the show. You can get it on the podcast feeds. You can watch us on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. However you want, we're available to entertain and advocate for a world with no more America. Glad you're here. We are going to be on the West Coast. We're leaving for Seattle this Friday. We're going to do a show on Sunday and Monday in Seattle, right? No, Saturday and Sunday. And Sunday in Seattle. Then we're going to Portland. Then we're going to Los Angeles. Then we're going to Oakland. Then we're going to San Diego. Not exactly in that order. Head to streetfightradio.com. On the front of the page, right there on the right-hand side, there is a link that says Left Coast Tour. You can click on it and get tickets. Get them now before it sells out. The West Coast does sell out. Portland, Oregon, there are no more tickets available. There will be 10 tickets at the door that are left behind. But if you show up and it's like 15 people, you'll probably get in. I've really never seen a venue turn someone away. Right.
All right. No, man, we ain't turning people away. I'll sneak your ass in. I don't give a fuck about the fire code. That's something about me. Yeah, I'm an anarchist. I don't care.
Right.
I'll fucking let you into my show. You want to see me? You're getting in. Okay? That's what I say.
Thank you to Eric P. He sent me a wonderful bottle of plum wine that I'm drinking directly out of. There's probably some proper glasses you're supposed to use, but I don't do that.
No. Brett's just going to get drunk on this wine out of the bottle right now. But hey, you know, that kind of shit is fun. I want to announce something right now. On Monday of this week, I got 66,000 steps.
Wow, congratulations.
It's my record.
How long is that?
Okay, so I woke up at 10:30 and I walked until midnight.
Oh my god. Doing what?
Walking.
You just never stop?
Uh-uh.
You don't eat or nothing?
Nope. I didn't eat until after I was done.
Bars?
Quarter pounder with cheese. Bars?
No, you don't like fill your pockets with granola or nothing?
Nope. No, I did get hungry. It was like, there was a point where I was like super hungry, but I was just like, you know what? You're going to get this record today. And that record, the original record was 61,000. That's like such a hard one to beat, you know? And I was shooting for 75,000 by the end of the year, but I'm not going to get it. I think 75,000 is impossible.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to start at midnight and then just see if you can go.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. So, yeah. Also, just personally, the POD cast, this month's episode is coming out soon. I was touring, so it's very hard to do these things in a timely manner, and it's only a monthly show. But we did Around the Fur, which is a great album, and I hope people enjoy that. You know, Shocktober's over. I know people enjoyed that. I get the messages all the time. And Teen Fight Radio is just about to start. We recorded the first one, and I think it's very good. Teen Fight is a show where me and Brett and my daughter talk to different women about what it's like to grow up. And you are going to hear stories that you've never heard on this show because we don't talk about our childhoods in that much detail. And it's a good show, you know. I got a little Q&A going to this week. I was going to do it on, I don't remember when we were going to do it, but I decided to do a Q&A. I like to do little things like this before we go to tour, you know. It bummed me out because I thought we should have had Drew in on Sunday for the call-in show. Uh-huh. But I forgot to ask him, and I like to do that before the tours too. So we'll do a little Q&A here in a minute. Brett, did you see, this is pretty Ohio specific, but I think a lot of people know it, you know? And I know we talked about this a little bit last week, but every fucking buddy in town is talking about that fentanyl that could have killed the whole state 2 times. Have you noticed it? Have people come up to you and said anything?
No, I haven't.
My God damn, I've heard from I had to go to a funeral on on Sunday last week, and like 4 different people were talking to me about the fentanyl that could have killed the whole state 2 times. So then I look it up again, and I'm like, I'm gonna go take a look at this, and it's on fucking NBC News, their official site, not our bullshit like local news site where they like just tell you good restaurants or whatever, but like actual NBC News, the national site. And the police are now calling it chemical warfare. They're saying that we've had chemical warfare done on us here by having that much fentanyl.
They just found a bunch of fentanyl?
Okay, I'll read the story for you.
I don't know the story.
I can't believe you don't know the story. I've talked about it to so many people. It's wild. And it's on the scroll downtown. You know the scroll on Broad and High with the LED light that goes around? LCD? I don't know. One of those kinds of lights that goes around. It's been on it for a week and a half now. It's actually really scary to me because of like the amount of it. Like, it's people don't talk to me about the news very much in my everyday life because I talk about kind of the news and stuff on my show, and they don't want to hear me blah 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 about it. You know, people don't want to get trapped in that conversation. But I spoke to a ton of people who were bringing this story up, like as in like casual conversation. You know those people that are like always want to talk about the bad news.
Yeah, they get animated by it.
That's my mom. My mom like loves bad news. It like is the best thing to her. I mean, it's bad for her, but it's also like she's just like, I can't fucking wait to tell everybody this bad news.
Yeah, this is great for people that like the show 24 and just imagine that someone has enough fentanyl to kill all of Ohio, and that's exactly what they're planning to do with it.
Well, okay, let's read the article then. Because I think you're going to get a lot more out of it if we just read the article. This is from NBC News. Ohio authorities have seized a multi-million-dollar haul of fentanyl so large they're calling it a weapon of mass destruction.
Oh, right.
Almost 45 pounds of suspected fentanyl, 3 pounds of suspected methamphetamine, and a pound of suspected heroin, 3 firearms, and over $30,000 in cash were seized in Montgomery County, Ohio during the week beginning October 21st, according to a statement Thursday by Ohio's Regional Agency's Narcotic and Gun Enforcement Task Force. Man, Montgomery County got it going on, man. They got all the drugs. The operation was carried out in partnership with the FBI, U.S. Department of Homeland Security, and Ohio Attorney General's office. The task force said the authorities hailed the successful operation for keeping the massive shipment of drugs off the street. The quantity of fentanyl in this case amounts to chemical warfare and a weapon of mass destruction, said Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost. Vince Callender, Homeland Security Investigations Special Agent in charge of Michigan and Ohio, called 45 pounds of fentanyl enough to kill the entire population of Ohio many times over. I mean, that's rich. Coming from a government that has bombs that could kill the entire population of the United States many times over. Very rich coming from them. I'm not going to read their names. I never read their names. 3 people were arrested in the operation on suspicion of narcotics trafficking. They face charges of possession with intent to distribute 400 or more grams of fentanyl, as well as felony possession of a firearm, the task force statement said. In January, Customs and Border Protection officers made the largest fentanyl bust in U.S. history, confiscating 254 pounds of the drug hidden in the floor compartments of a truck carrying cucumbers in Nogales, Arizona. The first thing I want to say about this is, like, back during in the early days of the war on drugs, something that the government used to do whenever they made a big drug seizure was estimate its street value. Right. And they would give this street value that was like, if you sold it all in like dime bags, that's how much money.
That's how much weed they got.
Yeah, that's how much they got.
And some pound of weed becomes $7,000 or $10,000 worth of weed.
Yeah. So the reason that they're doing the deaths thing now is because we all know it's bullshit about the street values, right? Like, it's common knowledge now. People laugh when they say the street value of a drug. Like, it's a joke. It's a hack joke. If you were to write the joke at this point and go on stage, people would call you a fucking hack for it. So now it's how many people the drug could kill, and like I don't even know what they're getting at. Like if a plane flew over the state and dropped fentanyl out of the plane, is that the idea? You know?
It's enough to keep people in fear. Like, it's enough to protect their job, I think. I mean, they've got a task force out there.
Yeah. And it's so weird because it's like, you know, you could also just like, again, regulate this shit, and then it would cost less money and so much less human suffering to just regulate, just have it out there and regulate it and let it be used.
Yes, I mean, that everybody in Ohio isn't dying from it. Like it's also coming in regularly, and probably being used without much issue.
Right. So when an OD happens, it is generally blamed on fentanyl. And you know what? The truth is, fentanyl kills people.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're not on this fucking show saying fentanyl kills people. We're saying that, like, it doesn't kill people. We're saying that, like, it's because things can't be measured. It's because it's not being handled by professionals. It's because it's not being handled in a clean place to put it together to get it to people. And the reason that it's being handled that way is because it's against the law, and there's a fucking task force of people with guns that'll chase you around for it. Now, people are always going to want this drug. Opioids, like, I don't think it's said enough that, like, opioids have been around forever, and people have always done them. And a smart person would say, hey, maybe since there's no possible way we can make everybody stop taking opioids, we should make sure that the people taking them are safe. Like, that's the solution to this problem. It's the easiest solution.
But we spend so much time and energy in punishment. Like, we want reason to send people to jail. We want to make sure that lawyers have money. We want to make sure that there's a system around it. Like, we spend so much money not fixing problems. Like, that's how this American system works.
Well, and it sucks because me and you do a niche podcast to, you know, a high number of people, but not a million. And, like, this conversation doesn't happen anywhere. Like, nobody can go to a guy like fucking Mike DeWine or whoever the governor is and suggest it, like, because this seems like a slam dunk argument. This isn't this argument. Like, how could you argue against this? What would your argument be? And I see there are so many people on social media, and there's so many writers and most people that cover drugs in the United States and the war on drugs. Like, they're all saying this. They're all saying the same thing me and you are saying on this show right now. They don't get a platform. They don't get a voice. They don't get to be on MSNBC. They don't get to be on fucking, you know, CNN or the New York Times doesn't have them write op-eds in their opinion page. It just doesn't happen. It's treated like a fringe idea, but it is truly the only solution to this problem.
Absolutely.
All right.
I don't know what to say other than, like, yeah, it's just completely mismanaged at this point. They, I don't know. Sorry.
All right. Well, I got some questions. I asked for questions on Facebook, so I guess we'll answer some questions. Steve,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I did want to say I was reading, like, the cross-contamination has become a big thing, too. But it's all fucking lies. You know, the amount of drugs that they're finding that are cross-contaminated with fentanyl are people that they're, like, busting, you know, at, like, a park and shit. You know, they aren't, like, getting a general sample of, like, cocaine or methamphetamines.
No.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, cocaine is such a weird one to me because I'm reading Dark Alliance by Gary Webb. And when this government started looking to go after cocaine, it was some guy, some Republican senator, I think from Ohio. He starts going after cocaine. He has a big press meeting, you know, he like gets all the people in, he gets academics and everything and doctors and researchers, and one after the other, they say cocaine is not dangerous at all. It's way too expensive to get in a large quantity. The buzz is not that much. It's not like this crazy like acid. It's just not a crazy buzz. And generally, people who do it, just it's not like really addictive. You can do it, and like if you snort it, okay. One doctor came up and said, I would not outlaw cocaine. I would make it so they can sell it in stores because there is a way to make cocaine dangerous and addictive, and that is crack. Like, crack is what did what's addictive and what is dangerous and what gets you like the big high. Well, people all over, people were dying from crack. Crack was bad. But like, even then, it's like, if you don't make cocaine illegal, do people still smoke crack or just do cocaine? You know?
Yeah, I've always heard they're pretty much chemically the same. I mean, all you're doing with crack is making it smokable. Cocaine, instead of snorting it, you're just making it so you can smoke it. The high is related.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's like a different high, but smoking it gives you a more intense, shorter high than snorting it.
Right.
And that's what got people hooked, you know. Freeway Ricky Ross is in this book that I'm reading. He's in it a lot, and he's talking about it. And he was like, I didn't drink or do any drugs. I never even tried the cocaine when I was selling the cocaine. But when they taught me how to do crack, when they taught me how to make rocks, I hit one time and I said, I can't ever do this again because it feels too good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, you know, obviously then he saw the fallout, all the like what was going on in Los Angeles and Miami at the time was devastating to those places.
Yeah.
But that is not a regular issue with regular cocaine. They were trying to explain that cocaine is pretty fucking safe, and it's a pretty mild drug, is what they were trying to explain.
Prolonged use of it will fuck you up.
Yeah, of course. The prolonged use of anything will fuck you up.
Right.
Except for weed. You can fucking smoke as much weed for every day. Here's our first question.
Well, just to put the pin in that, I saw this thing from the New York City Police Department filed this report thing that over the last 3 years, from like 60,000 samples, 1% of them had traces of fentanyl in it, and that's traces. That doesn't mean it's like a killer amount. You know?
It's not going to kill you. It's
right.
just a small amount.
It showed a little bit in there, but they've blown it into this thing. They've now tried to make it into, you know, they're trying to any way they can to expand this fentanyl crisis as far as I mean, we talked about weed that they say is fentanyl now. Like they really are just trying to find the next hysteria to make money off of and put people in jail over.
Yeah, and it's ruining people. I mean, this one's ruining people's lives in a way that even the crack epidemic didn't do. In that, like, at this point now, people who need this medicine are not being able to get it.
Yeah.
And they're not, that is...
Yeah, we're dealing with a lot of people that started at pharmaceutical pills, you know, and are now at fentanyl.
Yeah, people with chronic pain. I mean, honestly, I don't know anybody who didn't get... most people I know that got addicted to pain pills are got it prescribed first, you know, and got a lot of them prescribed there in the early 2000s, late 90s. And, you know, the reason it's like a lot of blue collar workers is because blue collar workers get hurt and are in pain. And that's how it happens, you know, and that's, I mean, it's just hard stuff. You know, before we do the Q&A, I've had this in the show notes for a while, and I thought it would be fun if we, it's an old school little thing, man. We read a blog post and we talk about it. We used to do these a lot. We did it with the Sweat Pledge. We did it with, we've done it with a few other, the Cop magazine. So we're going to do a little bit of that. This is from Law Enforcement Today.
Oh, God.
And it's a blog post that a guy made that has a lot of material in it. And I figure let's do it tonight because I don't have a lot of news to read.
Okay.
The collapse of law enforcement will usher in the end of America as we know it. And then it has the oath that you take when you're a cop on it for like as the way to start it. This is by Kyle S. Reyes. It's funny, they're so dramatic.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the headline, and then it's like, I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And like all this shit. It's just that kind of thing is so funny. Like they are the biggest, most dramatic people. Cops the only people more dramatic than cops are actors who are actually doing dramas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just that I just find more and more the less the less actual problems people that have in their life, the more time they have to create problems for other people.
Yeah.
It happened with the Halloween this week or last week. Was there was somebody that told me they had one of those Ring doorbells that you can record video on.
Yep.
And they shared a video on like the local Facebook about someone that walked up and took the whole bowl of candy and just poured it into their bag.
Yeah.
And someone said you should turn it into 6 on your side.
Why? Six on your yeah, explain 6 on your side to everybody.
6 on your side is the news. ABC 6 is our ABC affiliate, and they're like, you contact them like if a contractor doesn't finish your fence, and they'll go like knock on their door and ask them about it. But
I mean, real Columbus heads will know 6 on your
Yeah.
side because people have been saying it since the 80s, I think.
yeah, everybody says call 6 on your side. People feel like it's like a lifeline.
They do. They
The
feel,
last person that cares in this world. It's
It's like-
6 on your side.
It's like Batman or a vigilante. It's like if the police won't do it, you got to, yes, we all know the Better Business Bureau is bullshit. And sure, it's okay to try the Better Business Bureau first. But if that doesn't work, call 6 on your side.
So
I want a 6 on your side shirt now.
yeah, we should find some.
With like a badge on it.
They have a logo?
I don't know. 6, but yeah, in Columbus, that is like, it's like ditch, where we say you ditch in line and everybody thinks it's crazy. But 6 on your side is, you probably have one in your city, but I'll bet you it hasn't taken hold. I know New York has Shame on You, where they play a song that's like, shame, 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 shame on you.
Yeah.
And then they do like their bit. But yeah, it's just your local news thing. But we have taken that as like a slang. Basically, it's a slang term in the city that every single person that lives here uses.
But so that's what I mean is that cops also fit this perfectly, where that they have all the power in the world, they have all the control, and they have a union behind them that can actually protect everything that they do. They get like in this city, the mayor will apologize to a cop that punches a citizen in the face or like kills somebody. The mayor will fucking apologize to them.
Yeah.
But these people can't get past like the fact that they can do whatever they want because they're just too busy imagining themselves going up against warriors. Like they are fighting all day long, and like it's a military engagement against the streets or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
They
I
feel
mean,
like
they
they're
think the
going to
Bloods.
battle.
They think they're fighting like these evil. Because like even with the Bloods and the Crips, it's like they're not evil. They're just a bunch of people that hang out with each other and get in fights sometime. And it's like they have in their mind that they are fighting like there is an army of cops, and then criminals are this big organized army of criminals, and they have to be stopped. But like crime is most of the time done out of desperation, and the times where it's not done out of desperation, it's just. It's rare, and it's usually just people grab-assing, really. Generally, most crime, like with fighting and stuff like that, it's just all grab-assing,
Sure.
It's just like people punching, like when 2 guys get in a fight in the street, I call that grab-assing. And, like, that doesn't need the cops involved,
That seems like
Let them beat each other up, So here we go. Mortality. It's something that you don't really consider when you're young. You can do anything. You're invincible. But as we grow older, we start considering that mortality. It's time we start considering the mortality of America. Ooh, I'm hoping it's short. I'm hoping like that America's very almost to the end.
It's on its lifeline.
I spend this is my favorite line of this, one of my favorite lines of this thing, and it's going to get a good laugh out of the listener. Maybe not Brett, but the listener will get a good laugh. I spend a substantial amount of time working in 2 different arenas, the world of law enforcement and the business world. By day, I run a marketing agency. Among the areas we work in, we do extensive work in the firearms industry. My travels take me across the country, often to the most rural parts of America. By night, I am the national spokesman for law enforcement today.
Wow.
He's not a cop. He's not even a fucking cop.
Wow, he really twisted us.
He did.
He's like, by day I do marketing, by night I do freelance marketing. I do marketing for free for the police.
This guy is just a marketing guy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's all he is.
He
Gets home at night, he hates his life, and he's like, I gotta do something to avoid my home existence. I'm just gonna do a little bit of marketing for the police.
I want to go back now that we know what he does. I spend a substantial amount of time working in two different arenas, the world of law enforcement and the business world. It's like this guy wants so bad for people to think he's a cop out there on the street battling bad guys.
He's imagining that like a lot of the audience is just going to read the first paragraph and just be like, fuck this cop.
Yeah, or like, oh, such a brave cop. You
Yeah.
know, doing cop shit, you know, because if you're reading Law Enforcement Today, which is the website we're on, he's the national spokesman for this website. That's all.
It's a good grift.
It's funny.
I mean, this is a snake oil salesman.
You think so? I'm not a police officer. I was tapped because I can do one thing cops can't do. I can give them a voice. I can run my mouth and no agency can fire
God.
me. We're about to get it. The travel that I reference, both in the business world and supporting the LE world, has people that say LE, he calls them Leos, right? For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like he's a Leo guy.
He's already abbreviating that.
He's close to Leo.
Yeah, he's just going to call them L's eventually.
He loves them so much. He loves them, Brett. He wants to kiss them on the lips. He wants to kiss the police on the lips, every single one of them. Has afforded me countless opportunities to work side by side with some of the greatest patriots in America. My closest friends are either in law enforcement or either active or retired members of some of the most elite military forces in America.
What a goober.
I know, this guy rocks.
This is awful.
He said my friends
is
are
like-
cops. My friends are either the cops or SEAL Team 6. That's the only people I hang out with. You know?
Go to somebody's house, like you sit on their squeaky couch and like, that's a leather couch. You're like, oh, fine. Yeah, go like, that's a 56-inch TV. Like, oh, okay. Like, I have all the Marvel movies on DVD, actually.
Blu-ray.
Oh, really? On Blu-ray, yeah.
4K. I'm sorry, 4K.
All my friends are active military or elite soldiers. Like, what is that?
Who says that?
Why aren't you?
That's an
why do they hang out with you?
I want to see a picture of this guy. But
Well, I give them a voice. I'm not good on the battlefield. I'm a string bean. I have flat feet, so I can't be a part of the battle, but I can use my voice to elevate my favorite Ellies.
I can't take a punch to the face, but I can stand behind a podium and make some big amount of money to tell cops, like, you're the greatest. I picture this guy as having a very, like, New York. This is like a New York guy to me, you know? Because this is extremely like a Long Island
Where's he at?
vibe. I don't think it says it.
Oh.
Here we go.
Law Enforcement Magazine? I don't think everybody in the world is like a New York City Guido, though.
Well, law enforcement, guys that like cops this much a lot of
New York
time.
City does love the police more than any other place.
Dude, I got to tell you something right now that I didn't even notice from this, but the ad on this site for this blog is for the Netflix for first responders. We need.
There's a what?
It's like Means TV, but
for first responders.
First responders.
Really? What could be on there?
I don't know. Nothing funny.
Oh.
This is like cops like beating guys up and stuff like that because they love watching cops beat guys up, you know?
Well, yeah.
You know what they probably got on there? They probably got the Benny Hill music and the cops arresting all those people that jumped fare as a protest in New York on the subways.
Right.
Stuff like that. Okay, so, and from
I do want to, you got to write that name down.
I'll get it. It went away, so I'll have, it has a show on it called The Real Man Show.
Okay.
So it's not like The Man Show. It's The Real Man Show. I will get you the info, Brett. This website's so genius, Brett. At the top, it has the things up there say news, be heard, And then, like, to make it seem like a big deal, it says business partners,
Cool.
forums, and job postings. Sometimes you'll be putting a job postings, like, link on your site. I'll bet you there's not a single fucking job that pays money.
No.
But it makes you look big,
Right.
you know?
It does seem like eventually there'll be something there.
It's a good look. Okay, so he's friends. I'll move back a little. My friends are either active or retired members of some of the most elite forces in America. And for our greatest warriors to our everyday citizens, I can tell you the underlying fear that so many are thinking about, and that's the seemingly inevitable collapse of society if we don't make some monumental changes. As a Christian, we got ourselves a Christian too, Brett. This guy is the anti-us.
Yeah.
Because only one troop likes us, and that's Francis from What a Hell of a Way to Die. And then all the rest of the troops hate us.
No, we have a lot of
Brace.
troops.
This is a troop in a way, too, yeah. I know, I'm kidding.
We do good with troops.
I know.
We get in trouble for it.
Do we?
Yeah, I had someone that was giving me shit about it.
Because troops listen to our show?
Yeah.
We make fun of them all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. As a Christian, I believe we are in the middle of some serious spiritual warfare. But you don't have to be a Christian to understand that the very soul of America is under attack right now. And the rapid erosion of the thin blue line has us sitting on a powder keg. Historically,
Rapid erosion. Since when? Like they haven't lost at all.
Trump is the fucking president of the United States.
They can murder any suspect or protester they want and get away with it.
I know. I always think about that when we talk about these kind of things, especially with this one, like the rapid erosion. It's like they win, they never lose. Nobody ever gets in trouble for anything. So all I can think is that the rapid erosion means that there is a certain amount of people that don't like the police. But I'll say this, in the 90s, there were a lot more people that didn't like the police than there are now. 9/11 fucked that all up. But when I was growing up, dude, nobody liked the police.
I don't think they were definitely not that popular.
No, nobody I hung, like, I know my friends were all criminals and hellions, but like even the adults would be like, oh, what do you, fuck you. You said it about your dad,
Yeah. No, my
who's
family,
a conservative guy.
Yeah, very staunchly. They thought they were just doing bullshit, like, trying to find something to get into.
Yeah. That is what they do.
Right.
They just go around looking for trouble to get into. Historically, this guy's going to give us a history lesson, Brett. Historically, if you look at the collapse of some of the greatest empires in the world, it happened from within. Simply put, it raises the distinct danger that America won't be conquered by foreign enemies, but rather from domestic ones. I think he's talking about us.
Yeah.
I think he's talking about us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm worried because they are way more paranoid than we are.
Well, they don't know their place in the world. There's this thing, like, so many people don't know their place in the world. Like, whether it was like, me and Felix talked about Opie and Anthony being mad when, like, Paul McCartney didn't do their show. And it's like, why would Paul McCartney do your show? You know what I mean? And it's because they consider themselves to be, like, these hugely famous people that they actually weren't. And, like, I see so many people that just, like, I'm nobody in this world. I don't have power or control over anything. And I realize that. But there are a lot of people who don't feel that way. Just like there are a lot of people who feel like they're the most important person, or they're one of the most important people. It's generally people who will say, I don't go out that much because everybody's dumb. That insinuates that you're smarter than everybody else and not just a curmudgeon.
Yeah.
When historians say that an empire fell, it means that the central state no longer exercised its broad power. I thought you guys didn't like that. I thought they didn't like that, Brett. That happens either because the state itself ceased to exist or because the state's power was reduced as parts of the empire became independent of its control. God willing. Inshallah. It typically doesn't happen because of a single cause, but rather a long process. The main factors that historically led to imperial collapse are Here we go, baby. Here we go. Economic issues. Yeah, that's your fault. That's the government's fault. That's the conservatives' fault. You know?
No, they've done everything they can to make those they've added as many economic issues to the problem as they could.
Right. They could fix all of these problems. Like, these problems could... The economic problems especially, when you look at the wealth distribution, are like... You could fix that very easily. You know? You just take it all away from the guys that are hoarding it. Boom. You got yourself economic justice. Social and cultural issues, which is... that they call... That, to them, is everything that they... Like... Every TV show they don't like, I think, is all it is. They're just like, there's a lot of TV shows I don't like, and that's a huge issue.
There's too much diversity.
Environmental issues, again, their fault. We're trying to get you to stop it. You won't do it.
We want to work less. It's better for the environment.
Yeah, political issues, which I thought...
But that was the other stuff, wasn't it?
I thought so, but I guess, this, you know... This guy is saying he heard this from historians, but it doesn't read like it to me. Now, none of these factors are causes in and of themselves, but rather are ways to categorize causes.
So dumb. Like, this is just so fucking Nostradamus-y. Like, you just name every problem that could happen. What other problem would take it? Like, what other problem would make a country? I mean, he failed to mention the poor uprising. He failed to mention, like, revolution.
Economic issues. Is under there, and social and cultural. That's the other part. Like, social and cultural issues are them saying they're tired of, like, political correctness.
Yeah.
They're talking about Antifa and stuff.
Yeah, they're
like
talking. That. Yeah, they're saying all of a sudden we're supposed to respect people's decisions about their lives instead of punishing it out of existence.
Yeah, well, they hate that idea, though. That's a hideous idea to the guy from law enforcement today. What that means is you wouldn't make a determination that Rome fell because of politics, but rather you'd explore political factors to understand the collapse. And in those issues are warning signs for us Americans. These guys really want to be Rome.
Fuckers, I know. It's just so boring. It's like... There's a time when I was younger and stupider and more naive, and I would listen to somebody, and I thought this was like an opinion to have, but... I've just become more tired of somebody that's talking about fucking Rome in relation to what's going on right now.
I used to. You're right, dude. Because people would talk, like, back when I started to, like, kind of pay attention to politics and stuff. I was very interested in your, like, not your personally, Brett, but in like, if somebody sat down and started telling me about how Rome worked, I was like, oh. That's interesting.
Intriguing.
Yeah. Very, like, rubbing my beard and like, I don't know. Have you ever heard of something called the Cloward Piven strategy? It's not exactly.
See, I'm out. This has nothing to do with me.
It's not exactly something the mainstream media talks about, but it's something you need to be aware of because it's what we're facing in America today. He's going to explain.
The Cloward Piven.
Cloward Piven. Now we're going to finally understand what's happening with our great nation and our Leos. Okay?
Yeah.
American sociologist and political activist Richard Cloward and Francis Fox Piven created the political strategy in 1966. The idea behind it is to overload the U.S. public welfare system to create a crisis that would lead to a replacement of the welfare system with a socialist system of a guaranteed annual income and thus an end to poverty.
Whoa, okay. Okay, not what I thought.
That's weird. If that doesn't describe what we're seeing from Democrats who are running for POTUS right now, I don't know what does.
But that does make sense. I mean, now I do. I didn't realize they were handing that term around.
Cloward Piven?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're sociologists. They're not going to, like, be conservative. It's hard to be conservative if you're a sociologist. I have a sociology degree, and they make it nearly impossible to turn conservative.
No, but I'm just saying, like, the get everybody on welfare until it, like, breaks the system.
Oh, you like the idea?
Yeah. Well, I don't like the idea. I just feel like now I understand a little bit of some stupid arguments I've heard before.
Okay. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
this is where like this does seem like because you always wonder how someone could believe something so stupid, and then you realize that another person just told them the name of a doctor, and they were immediately like, "Oh, okay."
Me, Brian Quinby, is like that. I am very much like, if you tell me it was from a study and you tell me who the like, if you
Why
tell
don't you
me,
believe in Cloward Privens then? Or
I do
Pivens?
believe Cloward Privet. I do think that is, I mean, they're just saying that's a strategy, right? Like, I do believe that is one possible way to go about doing things. It's not my favorite way, but it is one possible way. And I don't think the Democrats are trying to do that, though. You know, like,
No,
I
I
would
don't
disagree
either.
with them that the Democrats are trying to do that.
No, but that's what I guess that gets closer than what it is. It's right. This is a hypothesis of a strategy that they have turned into like the plans of the Democratic Party.
I know, that's what they do, though. They hear, like, so the thing is, this guy has never read the study
Right.
that he's referencing. He's heard somebody say some of the stuff from the study. That is what he's done, and he's translating it through them, and then he's now gonna tell us how it's happening. Right. So if that doesn't describe, so anyway, I don't know but it's much bigger threat than you might realize. That's because it's so incredibly pervasive. It's poisoning the very roots of America, and it calls to mind the words of Jefferson. Brett, I'm gonna read the Tree of Liberty quote right now because it's in here.
The words of Jefferson.
Always.
How could I forget?
The only quote anybody knows by him is
What is this for newbies or something? I have this quote on my cell phone case. I have a jacket with it monogrammed on the inside. How could anyone not know this one?
Now I want a t-shirt with this quote on it with a circle with a line through it. Like, never say this to me. The Tree of Liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. It's its natural manure. I didn't know the manure part. But
I don't remember the manure
never
part
heard
either.
this guy just wanted to type manure, and it's probably he didn't read the actual thing. That's probably the way he heard it, and he's just because this guy seems like a real I heard this kind of guy, you know.
This is what's kind of shitty about someone that's outside of it is that like he's just thinks welfare recipients are like the scum of the earth people. Like that's what he's presenting is that like the police are dealing with like this invader army of people that are working less and like that are trying to enact this ancient fucking strategy to take down the United States.
Well, it's funny you say that because the next line in this, we are seeing groups here in America demanding open borders, demanding the decriminalization of crossing into our country illegally. At the same time, across our great country, we are seeing the criminalization in capital letters, all caps, criminalization of law enforcement.
Really? I didn't know that.
I want to read that the way he wrote it, like the way he typed it. At the same time, across our great country, we are seeing the criminalization of law enforcement.
Yeah.
He probably typed like really hard on that part, like hit the keys too hard, you know?
Yeah, I want to hear Alexander from Minion Death Call give it a go.
Okay.
I like the way he reads them.
I'll shoot him. I'll send this to. They'd probably love this too. This is a great blog post. This is like perfect show material, you know.
Criminalization of law enforcement.
Yeah, it's against the law now to
It's
enforce
illegal.
the law. God damn it!
So now the cops are just driving their own cars and pulling people over for speeding. They're like doing it for free. They're rolling up in neighborhoods and busting crack dens and shit.
Yeah,
They're like all that fentanyl they found that was off the clock work.
They're not doing it for free. They're doing it because they have to.
Right.
Like they're just guys that feel like they have to law enforce.
Right.
And now that it's illegal, the cops are going to come and arrest them for doing it.
The Antifa cops.
Who's going to arrest them? They say it's
Antifa's gonna arrest them.
criminalization.
They're
like
fascists.
Yeah, that's true. Antifa keeps arresting our police. It's crazy.
Antifa outlawed cops.
Yeah. It's gotten so bad in states like the People's Republic of California and Connecticut.
Who calls it that? Who calls it that? Has it been taken over already? Oh no, he's being jokey. I'm sorry. I fell into his joke. Sorry.
He's being funny.
I was sorry.
That we're seeing the crash and burn of morale in law enforcement. Aw.
Oh no.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, because Dorner told you what was up.
We're seeing agencies desperate for officers because as more and more retire or count down the minutes to retirement, we see a deficit in a number of incoming recruits. After all, why would you want to live a life of service when you're just going to be attacked for that service? This
is all fantasy. This is just Dungeons and Dragons.
This
is not anything about this is based in reality.
We see
You can go to any gas station and see a half dozen fucking thin blue line stickers on the back.
You're telling me every truck stop we stop at has 1,000 first responder things and cop things. You can buy hats with like your favorite cop on them. I mean, you can't do that, but that's coming.
No,
someday you'll be able to buy a hat with your favorite cop on it.
You can, yeah, they're gonna have jerseys. You can do. Yeah, you can any gas station, every single one that we stop at, they sell a hat that has like mole strap on it and like a Velcro American flag on the front of it.
Yeah,
that's supposed to be like I think like a troop. It's one of these. It's for these guys. They're like I'm kind of like a troop. I know what it's like. I'm the mouthpiece for the troops. I'm not a cop. I'm just the mouthpiece.
This is an odd sentence I'm going to read. We see political activists masquerading as police chiefs. We see...
I mean, this has to have 1 million shares. Like this seems like some pretty good popular content.
We see them working hand in hand with liberal politicians to not only attack the rights of law-abiding citizens, but also to destroy the morale of their own departments. We watch as they flat out disrespect the oath of office they took and put officers in a no-win situation. If I were to design a roadmap for how to collapse America, starting with law enforcement, here's what it would look like.
All right, thanks for handy advice.
Handy dandy advice from the law enforcement today, guy.
Take note.
The most pathetic person I've ever read so far. Step 1, divide the protectors. The refusal to allow rank and file patrol officers to cooperate with federal law enforcement to uphold the law, it's a slap in the face to Americans, and it's a dereliction of duty. It's also a clear and intentional move to create a divide between local, state, and federal law enforcement. Divide the protectors, conquer a society. I don't think we can do...
He's calling for something. I mean, he's calling for basically like a nationalized federal police force that can crack down on people.
How dare you? He is saying that. I agree. Like, that's his plan. But he would never admit that he just wants one big national police force, that all of them are working together.
Yeah, because like a lot of these cranks are like states' rights people. Like,
yeah. They don't make sense, dude.
I don't get this.
They just want the cops.
Yeah, they just want
more cops.
They're just anything they can point out where the police have to stop and think for a second before they beat someone's head in.
That's true. Yeah. Step 2, divide the supporters. Force officers to choose between enforcing unconstitutional legislation like red flag laws, which deny citizens of their right to due process, and providing for their own family.
What is red flag laws?
Red flag laws are if if a certain amount of red flags come up, you're not allowed to buy a gun. It's like sort of the types of laws you break, and there's like other stuff. It's like, if they think that you have the potential to be a mass shooter, there's certain ways that you can categorize that, and then you're not able to buy a gun. And I am stupid, so I don't know any of the stuff around it. But make cops the bad guys. Take the people who have historically supported law enforcement and convince them that the cops are now the enemy. Divide the supporters. Conquer a society. Where is this happening? who historically supported law enforcement that isn't supporting law enforcement now?
They have to put up with about a half dozen more people than before.
Yeah, but that is see, the funny thing is like all they're really what he's talking about. This is all just criticism.
Yeah.
There isn't anything else happening.
Right.
They never get in trouble. Nothing ever happens to them. And he is just saying, I don't like it that people criticize us. Or, well, he's one, right? He's a cop. He speaks on their behalf.
Does enough for him.
Step 3, remove their protection. Make cops afraid to be cops. Okay. Encourage.
If I could, I would.
I know. I've been trying to do that.
It hasn't worked so far, but
encourage disrespect on them, like water bucket attacks. Okay, I mean, who's encouraging? One, the government's. They put those guys in jail,
did
right?
they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did, or they fined them a shitload of. Those guys got in trouble. The water bucket guys. Don't go after the criminals who attack them. When officers arrest criminals, let them back out on the street within hours because a liberal judge determined that the violent suspect with a lengthy criminal history isn't actually a threat. I don't think that happens. That's not a thing I think happens, you know? And if it does happen, the judge, first of all, is probably following the Constitution. Because judges are assholes, and they also like putting people in jail.
Yeah, they wouldn't. If they would never let one slip through their fingers.
Yeah. Then threaten law enforcement officers that if they do their job, they'll be investigated. That if they have to fight for their lives, they'll end up being charged. Remove both their desire and their ability to police. Again, nobody ever gets in trouble. This is all criticism. You know, step 4, flood America. Oh, I bet you can't guess what this is. By some estimates, oh God. The some estimate thing is like such a whenever somebody does that, that's like me doing an estimate. It's so dishonest. By some estimates, 1 million people will make illegal entry into America this year. Mm-hmm. There are fewer than 850,000 law enforcement officers in America. Oh, man, can we get that number down? I mean, come on. Do the math. Now let criminals create havoc in society, but instead of deporting them or actually cracking down on crime, let Americans know that the real problems is guns owned by law-abiding citizens and pass legislations to... What does this have to do with anything? So he's saying like, hey, all these people are coming to the country to work. We got to be able to fucking shoot them, you know? Step 5, destroy our homes. Own the media. Own Hollywood. Force feed anti-American socialist and communist policies into our homes and our education system. Mm-hmm. Convince our children that right is wrong and wrong is right. I don't know what that even means.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to do, though, in this day and age with kids on their phones. You just send them a notification on their phone that says it's opposite day, and all of a sudden they go wild.
I just can't even figure out what is he talking about. So here's my guess at what he's talking about is like LGBTQ people, right? That's what he's talking about. It has to be. He's not going to say it, but that is exactly what he's talking about.
That makes sense.
Take God out of society, destroy the family structure, and teach everyone that the solution to your problems is in the form of pills, porn, and the government. I don't know.
Sounds like a good book title.
Pills, porn,
yep,
and the government. That's the solution. He thinks that people are running around, the left is running around saying that the solution to all the problems is pills, porn, and the government. Hey, I love pills. Porno's not bad, and the government is like whatever. I hate the
government's awful. Yeah, the government's what I don't want.
Yeah. Step 6, bypass Congress for gun control. Have private businesses like Dick's and Walmart determine what you can and can't buy. What the fuck?
They stopped selling guns?
Yes. But they did it. Nobody made them do it. They could still sell guns.
No, but in a free country, you have to force businesses to sell what you want.
I mean, I wish I could force businesses to sell, like, some of the treats I like that have gone away.
That's
like,
true.
like there are things like Choco Bliss. There's this old thing called Choco Bliss, and it was like a cake with chocolate inside of it and then a chocolate icing on top. Why doesn't the government force the stores to carry that for me?
Yeah, I would force more places to have Nerds rope. Like you can, it's just really hard to find. You have to go to like a specialty place, but they make Nerds all the time, and they have that goop all the time. They should just force them to make it more readily available.
Honestly, Walmart should be forced to sell bushels of weed, like bulk weed.
True,
just
yeah.
kick it out. Some cocaine. I don't know. I mean, there's all kinds of things I wish the store sold. They just don't sell them. You know. Walmart doesn't sell CDs with cusses in them.
Yeah,
You know how many times have people been fucked by that?
Yeah, make that mistake.
God, so many people bought 2 CDs. You know, back in the day, so many people accidentally bought one and then had to go back and buy the other.
Yeah.
It's really a genius
It's good.
idea, yeah. Allow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Snap determine what you can see and what you can say, because it's not a violation of the First Amendment if it's done by private enterprise.
One of my favorite posts of all time is, I'm getting shadow banned, but they're not going to stop it. If you see this post, like it. You know, it's like, yeah, perfect. That's the best way to get more viral. That's the best way to get more dummies money.
I love it because it's just so clear that nobody likes them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Step 7. Oh, this is a good one, Brett. Step 7's great. Use, in quotes, social justice to vilify love of the country. Let's hear his reason, though. Let's hear him out, okay? Take every patriotic American who wants to see a better country for their children and call them a racist, etc. If you don't agree with them, then mass report them on social media.
This guy. Come on, now we know. He's buried. It's really buried in there. This guy's a marketer because he's just telling, I cracked the code. You know, they tried to shut me down. I know how to beat their algorithms. I know how to get more likes. Because they're trying to get people like me to stop trying, you know?
He's been kicked off.
Oh, yeah.
For saying something racist.
Yeah.
This is definitely for sure this person's been kicked off of something for saying something racist. That's the funniest thing. That is such a personal thing there.
Yeah.
That's such a picture into him as a person.
Yeah. But I have to say, the other one before is, like, I follow all kinds of police officers on TikTok, Instagram, all of the social medias. There is tons of police officers on there that can say, they're saying and do, they're like stars.
Yeah. They like dance and like they rap and they lip sync to like songs and shit like that. Yeah.
Social media loves their content.
Right. And for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram would never kick a cop off for doing cop content. Never. Then mass report them on social media to make sure their accounts are canceled and their voices shut down. Maybe somebody he likes got their Facebook or Twitter taken away, and he's like, "Oh, damn, yeah, now I can't read that Ricky Vaughn guy." Remember him? He was like one of those really bad Twitter accounts that was like a racist. Then say you think they're a threat and have a judge determine that combat veterans and our nation's greatest warriors need to be disarmed because of PTSD. Then force officers to go to war with their own brothers and sisters. I have no idea how that happens. The collapse. It's happening right in front of our eyes, and it's starting with a full onslaught against our law enforcement officers in every way, shape, and form. Want to save America? We need to start by understanding the enemy. And sometimes the biggest threat that an empire faces is the enemy within. In case you missed it, here's a letter from the founder of Law Enforcement Today on what you need to know and how LET is fighting back. All right.
LET? What's
Law Enforcement Today. Dear America, when I founded Law Enforcement Today, I did it during a time where freedom of speech still existed.
Oh, no.
A time when the ability to market and advertise your company...
Oh, my God. It's all people that have, like, lawn care businesses that put, like, an old slur in there or something. And feel like they're pissed. These people that, like, go on something that's absolutely free. It's not a product that you pay for. They think it's like they think social media is like renting a fucking movie or like I don't know, like going to the grocery store. Like you're not paying for it.
Right. They're so obsessed
It's not
with
a service that's provided to you.
Like
It's
I think
a free website.
this guy, I think, is more obsessed with social media than I am. Like in a way that, like, I would never like say these words to people in my real life, you know. And I'm obsessed with social media. I'm
Yeah.
on it all day.
And if you got kicked off, you'd start a blog like this guy.
Yeah, target, and
He has
then
nowhere else to go.
every article would somehow turn into how I got kicked off of social media.
You would be like, how I make the switch to bagged onions, and then like 2/3 of the way through, you'd be like, I'd love to share this money saving advice with people on social media, but people like me get blocked and shadow banned when we express our truth.
I like that. I like the sentence: "A time when the ability to market and advertise your company wasn't infringed by bigger companies that control the media space and decide who does and doesn't get a voice based on their own political perspectives." There's never been that time, buddy.
The good old days.
Never
The
been a
good
time.
old days.
That time's never existed.
Back in 2015, man, you could run anything you want on Facebook.
Sadly, that time has come to an end, which is why our family at law enforcement today has no choice but to step forward to fill that void and begin advocating for people and companies that are being actively silenced. Good job. We've received word from some of our partners. Brett, here you come, Brett. This is your thing. We've received word from some of our partners in the firearms and tactical industry that Google is actively shutting down advertising accounts of companies in the firearms, accessories, and tactical space. Let's be clear. We're not talking about companies selling guns. One such company, for example, is Enforce. They make weapon-mounted lights that are used by departments like FBI, NYPD, a bunch of cops. Oh, and Border Patrol. Widely recognized as being both an LE and a consumer brand that helps make people safer. They are now shut down by Google. They are a company spending six figures on on advertising their products to consumers on a search engine, and now they've been shut down. Here's the message they receive. So they get a Google message. Bing, another search engine.
Oh God, he's going after Bing.
Bing, motherfucker can't even get on Bing. Bing, another search engine, also shut down the ad account because the flashlights have a line related to weapons. Okay, so you're mad about the fucking flashlights. Is this what you market during the day? Are you the marketing director for the flashlight company?
Probably.
That's probably true. He's not saying it.
So you're not allowed to sell lights for your guns.
You're still allowed to sell them, but Google isn't letting you advertise them on their site. Look, I
did Google Enforce lights, and there's a sponsored top 3, and it's for 3 gun lights.
Enforce?
Yeah.
Okay. What the fuck is this guy talking about? Think about this for a minute. Where do you do your searching for products and brands if you're like most Americans? Google, Facebook, and Instagram. I don't search for products and brands on Facebook or Instagram, by the way. When the 3 biggest platforms decide it's time to attack the industry and the Second Amendment, it has the potential to be catastrophic. It's in effect gun control through censorship, and it's an attack that's going to continue to spread. Hey, kind of like this is something the left's been saying for like a really long time about having a few companies own everything, and like, you know, freedom of speech is like very, it's fine that you're allowed to say whatever you want, but the big media companies don't put any interesting voices out there. And the rest of this goes, I think he's trying to sell, I think he's just trying to sell the flashlights now. So we'll go answer some questions, and then that was fun though. I mean, what a fucking guy, man. What a fucking guy.
Really?
He's just doing advertising. I was going to look and see.
I thought it was going to be a real thing. It just turns out he's mad about Facebook ads shutting his account down. I got my Twitter ad shut down because we were selling Kratom, you know. That was an injustice.
Well, you know, you're not the Leos, Brett. So tell him you're a Leo. Well, I guess they'll treat you even worse if you
That's
tell
true.
them you're a Leo.
In this world where the kids are being taught that wrong is right,
Yeah. First question, Steven Adams. Will you guys make a Stranglemania video, please? We tried to figure this out.
We will.
Honestly,
I watched Bill Burr do it today. It looked awesome.
okay, so here's what we need. And Jake is our guy. And if you want to, we can put you in contact with Jake if you know how to do this. We want crowd noise, but we don't want the commentators.
We can't do that.
It's impossible?
I think so.
Okay, well, there you go. That's why we don't do one. I don't want to shut the crowd noise off. I want the crowd noise with our commentary. I'm not going to ask this question. Can Varsity Blues be analyzed as a communist text? Scott, I haven't seen that movie in many years, but I don't think it's
not.
communism.
It's an awful movie.
Brett Payne. This is from Jerry Lundegaard. What do you think of AEW so far?
I love it. It's great. It's awesome. It's got me back into wrestling. I'll never watch WWE again, so it's just up to AEW to not fuck it up, because I definitely will leave if it's not good.
Yeah, I agree.
But so far, I mean, they're doing everything I like. As far as wrestling is concerned, it feels like back in the old days when it was good. WWE and Vince McMahon, Triple H, the whole family has just fucking ruined it.
Garbage people.
They turned it into the show. They took away all the spontaneity out of it. The matches are horrible. Like, nothing about it is good. So,
Yeah.
AEW has been amazing.
I agree. Francis Horton asks, what is the most anarcho-communist kids cartoon? Boy, I mean, you're asking the wrong guy because I don't know cartoons. But Brett might know. Brett doesn't know anarcho-communism.
Smurfs? I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just
it is
Smurfs.
probably Smurfs. You know, that's the most. Can I tell you what my favorite cartoon was as a kid? Maybe, and then you can decide if it's communist. Captain N, the Game Master, was my favorite cartoon. So, is that communist? Maybe, right?
I
Like
don't
they're
even
all
know what
working
that
together. It was the Nintendo one. It's like
No,
this.
but Mario's the king of Nintendo, isn't he?
Mario's not the king of Nintendo.
Really?
Because the guy from Metroid, or the woman from Metroid, could kill him in a second. Like, if Mario... Well,
Is that who decides who's in charge?
no. I mean, I guess Mario's the king. I hate to think of a world where Mario's the king, though.
Well,
You know what I
Princess
mean?
Peach is the queen.
Okay.
Mario's just the plumber, I guess.
Who do you use in Mario 2?
Mario 2?
Yeah, when you play Super Mario 2, who do you use?
Peach.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Lazy. I feel that's the lazy man's choice. But
It's fun. I love the mechanics, the way that you can float. Like, I don't know, I just like the way it feels.
like a 90-degree angle in
Yeah.
and out. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a Luigi guy. I liked Luigi a lot. He could jump the furthest. That's why I used him. You guys ever experience paranormal shit? I'll tell a story real quick. I was laying on a couch one time in my house, and it was, I don't know, it was like 10:30 when I was growing up, and it was the basement, and like there were a bunch of people outside, and I swear on my life, I saw a shadow man run into my bathroom. Didn't run back out, didn't last long. It was really probably 1 second of time, but it was sort of like gingerbread man shaped in a way, but it was running really fast and ran in the room. And I've been thinking about it it's something I've been thinking about my whole life. I don't know if that's paranormal. I don't know if maybe I was high or something like that, but I just remember being really like, holy shit, I just saw a shadow man. So yeah, that's the only paranormal ever since. Like, that's why I don't believe in ghosts and stuff like that, because I've just like never seen anything other than that shadow man.
Yeah, I don't. What is paranormal? Is just ghosts?
Yeah, alien maybe, I guess, but just any. Have you experienced any weird shit? Supernatural?
Well, so I'm looking at the paranormal says events or phenomena such as telekinesis or clairvoyance that are beyond the scope of normal scientific understanding. I will say that I absolutely have the power to make songs that are inside of my head happen in real life. I have had it, and it happens all the time. And I think it's an indication that there is a secret order to everything, and that I'm following the right path whenever I hear a song that I've been thinking about show up in real life.
Like, why don't you write the song?
Huh?
Like, why don't you write the song?
No, I'm talking about, like, I just will have a song stuck in my head, and then I'll go to buy fucking gum somewhere, and then the song will be playing.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying, I thought you were a psycho. I was about to have you checked out. No, I thought you were like a dude that was like saying like, yeah, man, you know, like a couple months before, you know, that Bruno Mars song came out, I'd been thinking of it, and then it came out, and I was like, look, that's the song I thought up. And it was like, no, you're claiming to. I was like, why don't you just write the motherfucking Bruno Mars song and scoop
I would
his
do
ass?
that. Yeah, I would definitely do that. I knew how to make money off that power.
That is weird, though. That I get what you're saying. That is kind of a little thing. What can we do to gently push friends left? You know,
Be fun about it.
yeah. I mean, it is like, it's sort of like when you're in the conversation. Obviously, you don't need to talk politics really every single time you have a conversation. And for me, it's just like, at least for me, when I'm pushing people, when I think I'm pushing somebody to the left, I think for me, it's about like explaining my principles and my beliefs to people in a way that makes sense to them. And then we hope that they then feel the need to take on those, like that they take something from it, you know, and move into those beliefs. But honestly, like, it's really, for me, the pushing your friends, the pushing your friends thing, like to just agree with your politics is kind of like, as long as they're not Donald Trump people, just enjoy the friendship that you have with the person that you have. You know, obviously we want to build a movement, and when you're around those people, live your principles, you know?
Yeah, I would say for me, it's really like, it comes down to a matter of just saying like, this is like, don't say other people are wrong because of this, or this is how other people think. Just say, I believe in a world where everybody that works should be a homeowner, or I believe in a world. I believe in whatever you think life. I don't think that I don't think that people that are homeless like did something to deserve it. I don't think that there's, just explain things from your point of view usually helps. And like I said, I mean, you kind of have to be a little like you have to be you can't be like abysmal about stuff. Like, I don't know. I'm using that the wrong way. I'm so fucking tired right now.
I'm trying.
But like,
here.
You just can't be like off. You just can't. You have to be smiling. That's why I say, like, you just have to not make it seem like it's the end of the world if they don't agree with you right now, or if they don't see things how you see them. It takes a while for stuff to sink in with people. And then if it comes down to really, like, we had yesterday city council and stuff, like, now that's something, is a time when it's actually is politics, and you can say, like, there's a candidate that cares about fair housing. Do you care about fair housing? Like, I understand you like this candidate for this, but they don't have any track record on this. This person, this DSA candidate is talking about this issue. How do you feel about that? Because a lot of the stuff that from that point of view is more relatable. Like the DSA and the more radical candidates for like the smaller local government that I've seen are saying things that resonate with people. Like Michaela that we met in DC. She goes on record all the time talking about how she got busted for weed before and how fucked up it is. And that's like way more easy for me to sell her as a candidate to somebody than like, well, this guy in a suit is a little bit different than this other guy in a suit. He's a little bit more, he's got a fighting spirit.
Yeah, I do hope to see more people like Michaela Wilkes in Baltimore. She's great. When is the first annual gathering of the Street Fighters?
It's hard to...
It's such a massive undertaking, but let me answer this the easiest way I can. Every single month, hopefully, I mean, this is a plan. We're going to do a live streamed variety show from Columbus, Ohio, at the same bar, and we'll announce the date after the one that happens. So on December 27th, we're doing a date. And then we'll announce the date after that for the next one that's going to happen in January, then February, then March. And, what?
We don't have to keep it a secret.
We don't know it yet.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
But we're going to plan ahead.
Oh, yeah, we'll plan ahead. And it's something that you can watch online, but I would come to it. The one we're planning for December is badass. And it's going to be very fun. And we'll make an official announcement, but it's wonderful. It's going to be great. And if you want to gather with a bunch of Street Fighters, that's the way to do it. That's going to be our biggest show.
No,
you know?
I would like to do a convention. I feel like I need a whole year to get to actually do it and be okay. I mean, maybe we could do it in 6 months by the summer. I just don't know. It would just be on a smaller scale. But I don't know. It is a good idea, and I do want to do it at some point. I just need. I don't know. It seems like such a gigantic undertaking. Yeah.
My uncle was in here, and he asked if I still wanted to be a Duke boy. And of course, have you seen the opening credit? I am a Duke boy. So I guess when I was a kid, I said I wanted to be a Duke boy when I grow up.
Sure.
I became one. It's great. When you were a kid, was there a trashy chain restaurant that was fancy in your eyes? And when did you realize it wasn't fancy or special at all? Mine was probably Fuddruckers, since we only got to go very rarely. For me, it was Applebee's. All of my first 7 dates were at Applebee's with my wife, and on payday, when we were feeling good, we would go to Applebee's and get food. And it just was like having the person take you to the table was such a joy to me that I didn't get very often. And I really felt fancy. I found out Applebee's wasn't the best thing in the world, actually, when I got on social media and people started making fun of Applebee's. And I was like, what? Wait. And then I also, what happened for me was I moved downtown and I started eating at restaurants. Because basically before Yelp, how were you supposed to Yelp and Google and stuff? How were you even supposed to find the good restaurants? You had to go and guess and take a chance. But yeah, I found out it wasn't good because people always made fun of it, or I may have seen somebody make fun of it on TV. And I tried my first few local restaurants, and I was like, there's a point where you really, when the first time you try really good food, really made by a chef, at a nice restaurant, that I can't describe the feeling, but there is a kind of good that you can't get at a place like Applebee's, and that I hadn't had in my entire life. It's like Indian food to me is one of those things. It's like I didn't eat Indian food growing up. I didn't eat it in my 20s. I didn't eat it in my 30s. I just started eating it. But my whole mouth just pops with this joy and this flavor that I had never imagined. And it just fills everything up. So Applebee's for me.
The only one I can think of is Ryan's Steakhouse.
Oh my God.
Because it was called a steakhouse, but you still stood at you stood. I mean, it was just still looked like fast food when you walked through the line at the beginning. But that's the only one that comes to mind. I can't think of any that I thought were fancy. I never in my life thought that we did anything fancy. I knew from watching TV what fancy was, and my family never approached that in any sort of possible way. So I think I don't think I can think of one.
That's so the difference between me and you is that my parents wanted so badly to be fancy, that they called everything fancy.
But my family wouldn't lie to themselves.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Outback Steakhouse to them was just fancy. We got 2 more questions I'm going to answer. I'm going to ask because I find them interesting. I'm sorry if we didn't get to your question. It's late, and we've gone almost an hour and a half, I think. Oh, no, we're not even close. Okay, so Andrew asks, what do you guys want Street Fight to look like long term? Any cool goals you want to achieve? You guys have made a super cool community. I want to know what your hopes for it are.
I can't answer this.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. I will say that I like what it is. I want it to stay basically what it is, but it would be nice to like get a bigger platform and talk to more people and interview more cool people. But yeah, that's I'm very happy with what it is right now. So
I have no idea. I just I don't know. I hope I don't know.
Where would you want your first outside the US tour to be? I mean, anywhere,
Japan?
really. Yes, Japan would be ideal. Or, we really, I think me and him, we've talked about it a lot, and like we really want to do Australia really bad. Like that, it's just like that's the place that comes up. I think if we do leave the United States, it's either going to be Australia or the obvious places. And I don't know when that's going to happen. I guess it could happen, but I just don't know with how what we do translates in Europe and places like that. And we're gonna try and get up to Canada, but that kind of shit makes me nervous. I don't know if what we do translates in places like that, and I don't know. So that is the show. We are done. Brett's gonna go nighty night.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to Street Fight. We'll see you. There'll be some stuff on the feed, but we're gonna be on tour. We'll be back on like the Sunday after the 19th, whatever that is. Thanks for listening. Peace.
What?
We can't do this. We have to figure out something else. Can we stop doing Undercover Boss or something?
Stop doing it altogether?
Yeah, we have $5 on you.